I'm going to go over the rigging that we use for red snapper, and it's going to be in the order of easiest to the most difficult. Neither of these are necessarily any better at catching them. It's just kind of all personal preference, and I'll kind of go over the pros and cons of each. So the first is just going to be your typical knocker rig. So with your knocker rig, all it is it's got your hook tied to your main line, and there is a sinker here. Now, the one thing I love about the knocker rig is it is super easy to get down to the bottom. You don't really have to worry too much about it tangling up on its way down. And because the weight is right next to the bait, you can really feel the bites a lot easier than any of the other rigs. Because as soon as that fish picks up the bait, you're gonna be able to feel it because it's tugging right on the main line. So that is one of the biggest pros to the knocker rig. Now the con is if you get broken off, well, you're gonna lose your sinker. So if you are opting to use the knocker rig, I just suggest to have a lot of sinkers, because if you get caught on structure, or if you get picked up by a grouper or a shark or anything like that, you're gonna lose this sinker if you break off. Now next we have your standard Fishfinder rig, which is simply a hook tied to some leader material, tied to a swivel, and then you have your weight going up to the main line. Now, one of the nice things about this particular rig is that, similar to the knocker rig, you have your weight here, and when the fish picks up, it's pretty easy to feel that bite. Another benefit is if you do get cut off here below the swivel, which typically I like to rig it in a way that if something does break, it's going to be this particular portion of the rig. Well, all you have to do is tie on another piece of leader material and hook. You still have your sinker, you still have everything up here. One of the downsides of this rig, however, is whenever you are sinking it down to the bottom, this is going to be going down from your line, and a lot of times it has the tendency for your actual bait to get wrapped around itself on the way down. So that's another thing to just keep into consideration when you are dropping down on the Fishfinder rig. Just make sure you drop it slow and controlled. Every once in a while you're going to want to pull up to make sure that this weight is at the sinker and not either way up on your line, or that this isn't tangled around this portion. Now last and not least, we have the Double Snell Rig. It is actually tied very similarly to the Fishfinder rig from the swivel up. You got your main line, you have your sinker, you have your swivel, and then you have the double snell. Now the difference is that this is what is called the Double Snell Rig. So as you can see here, instead of one hook, it is two hooks that are tied as in a snell, one next to each other. And I'll show you on the screen how I like to hook the bait. But one of the benefits of the Double Snell Rig is you have two hooks in your bait. So that means there is double the chance that if a fish picks up your bait, well, it's going to get hooked, because there are two hooks that are in your bait. Now, one of the cons to this rig is, again, on its way down, it has a tendency to get wrapped around your main line and tangled up, especially with there being two hooks. And then also, I just have found that these Double Snell rigs aren't as strong when it comes to two hooks into your bait. So you have to make sure that you have the proper size bait to be able to put two hooks in it. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to use a Double Snell rig. That's it, guys. I hope you were able to find some valuable tips in today's video. If so, please consider liking the video for me. It would really help me out. And also, if you want to see more videos and tutorials like this, please consider subscribing. I would love just to continue to grow with you guys and have you in this community that I'm building here. And I hope also that you guys are able to go out and catch some snapper. I'll leave a couple other videos here and here for you guys. Please consider hitting that button right there to subscribe. And until next time, I hope you guys can go out and catch some fish.